All right, good job. Have that just stacked in the corner like Charlotte's got here, just so it's out of your way, ready to use whenever you need it. Okay? All right. We are heading into lesson 6 today. I told you yesterday that yesterday kind of started several lessons about rounding. You guys were off to a good start. Even if you might not have felt super comfortable with it, we got off to a good start. Okay? Today may not feel like rounding. It's actually not rounding, but it's a skill that's going to help you with rounding. And that's why it got put here. In lesson 6, it says I can find 1, 10, and 100,000 more and less than a given number. Sometimes there's a lot of words in these things right here. And so we got to kind of break them apart and to understand them. So through this lesson today, we're going to be practicing having a large number and being able to add 1 to it. Sometimes we might add 10 to it. Sometimes we might add 1,000 to it. Sometimes we might add 10,000 or 100,000 to a number. If you start seeing the patterns and how that works, it becomes very easy. So don't let something like, I've got to add 100,000. Yes, and sometimes you can do it very quickly in your head once you see how it works. Okay? All right, for practice, let's look at this. We're going to actually talk about these slides together instead of, it's not a lot of board work this time. We have this number, and I do want us to practice saying these numbers together. Let me get this pen going here. And I will do my best not to let my hair turn it off today. But you never know what's going to happen, right? So we have this big number. Let's read it together. Help me out. 54,783. Okay. Now underneath it, it asks you how many thousands. You know, this number right here has how many thousands in it. And this question I'm asking gets a little tricky sometimes. Reagan, what do you want to say?
4, because they put it together because it's 54, but actually the 5 is 10,000.
Okay. Now, that is an answer I would expect most of us to say. That there are 4 thousands in this number, when actually it's what you were saying. You mixed it in there together, but there are actually 54 thousands in that number. 4 of them are in the thousands place, and 50 of them are in the 10,000s place. Because that group of 50 thousands is too big to sit in the 4,000s place, in the regular thousands place. Okay? So how many total thousands? Because remember this. Remember when we box in the number to help us write it in word form? If there were another digit, we would box it in too, because this group of 3 digits, these are all in the thousands place. The thousands, the 10,000s, the 100,000s, those are all thousands, aren't they? It's like a family that all has the same last name. Okay, you got just the regular thousands, you got the 10,000s, you got the 100,000s. So they are all thousands. These are considered all ones. Okay? 3 ones, 83 ones, 83 ones. Could you have 83 ones? You could, but because of how many that is, you would group them in groups of 10 and you'd wind up having 8 10s and 3 ones. It's a little confusing to hear, but I think the more we practice this, it'll make more sense. So this actually does have 54,783 ones. Now, if we put that on the place value chart, all of these wouldn't go in the ones column. It's too many. So we would have to bundle them up and drop them off in the 10s and the 100s also. Okay? So let's look down here. 54,783. I know that's smaller, but maybe you can see that still. How many 10,000s? Now, they just asked for 10,000s. What would we say? Okay. Not 50 10,000s. 50 thousands, But what's in the 10,000s place?
5.
Yeah. How many hundreds are there, everybody?
7.
7. How many ones? If we were just looking at the ones place? 3. If I said how many total ones, we'd say 783. It gets tricky because which answer do they want? You know, do they want just the ones column or do they want all of the ones places? So that is something that throughout really the whole year we'll talk about. Okay, so look at this one. Let's read this number together. Here we go. Take a breath. 234,673. How many total thousands are in that number? Miranda, what do you think?
232.
There are. How many total ones are there? All of the ones, Martin. 673. But if we break it down a little bit more, how many just 10,000s are there, Alexander? What's in, huh? Mm-hmm. How many hundreds, just hundreds, Gage, are there?
600.
Well, 6 of them, yeah. 600s. How many ones are there? Just in the ones column, yeah.
3.
Okay, and 3. All right, let's switch gears here. There are only 2 problems on this page, but I don't want you to look at the bottom one right now. I just want you to answer this one right here. We're going to answer it with our hand, okay? And then we're going to do some writing on our boards with this second one. All right, so if you think the symbol needs to go this way, I want you to hold up your hand this way with the mouth end pointing this way. If you think you need this one, okay? All right, so show me what you think. What symbol or which direction would your greater than or less than symbol go? Let me see from everybody. Hold it up so I can see. Okay. All right, I'm seeing. Now, we're not agreeing with anybody. We're either doing this or we're doing this. Okay, a lot of you are pointing the big end this way. Why? A lot of you are saying this right here. Why? Will, why?
Because if you look at 83,872,
Mhm.
there's only 2 digits, like right there. But
Okay.
if you look at the other number, there's 3.
Okay. So this goes farther out to a bigger place value, doesn't it? So you automatically know this one is larger. Okay, good. Now, when we see a problem like this, 6,000s, 400s, 910s, they wrote that in unit form. They told you that there were 6,000s, 400s, 910s, 800,000s, 7,000s, 800s, and 210s. This is not really word form. It's called unit form. It's kind of like word form. But right now, we need to do a step to make it easier to answer this problem. What do we need to do first? Go ahead.
Put it in standard form.
You're going to change this to a standard form number, like, that's written with digits like this. You're going to change this to a standard form number and then write your symbol. So what I want you to do for just a minute, look at your desk. Which of those tools would be helpful right now? Which of the 2 boards that we write on would be helpful right now? Okay, seeing this one get held up. Because as they tell you how many are in that unit, there are 6,000, so I'm going to put a 6 in the thousands place. Okay. What I want you to do is write both of these numbers. You might want to divide your place value chart. Let me show you. Let me borrow that just a second. Divide your place value chart like this, so you can put both numbers on there. me give you a minute to do that. Okay, that's good enough. Now go on. One number up top, one number underneath. All right, put your number. Do the whole words. Alright, what do the words say? Okay. 6 what? 6 thousands. Where's the thousands? Where's the thousands? I'm gonna put a 6 there. And then 400, you're gonna put a 4 in the hundreds place. And 9 tenths. Okay, tell me what you got for this number right here that says 6 thousands, 4 hundreds, and 9 tenths. Reagan, go ahead.
6,409.
6,000, did you say 490? Okay. They didn't tell us how many were in the ones, and when they do that, we know we have to put a 0. Okay? So make sure your number says 6,490. What about the second number? What would it look like? What would it look like? Charlotte, what'd you write?
8,700.
Okay. It's actually a little bit bigger than that.
Oh,
Okay. Look at where your first digit needs to go. Martin, read your number.
It needs to, it is 807,080
807,000.
82.
Not 82, but because this is hundreds.
102.
820. Good. Okay. So those are your two numbers. Now, once you put them on the place value chart, can you very easily see which one is larger? Yeah, the one that goes out to the biggest place value. Okay, this is in the hundred thousands. This is in just the thousands. Okay, good practice there. We're gonna jump to right here. So you can clear off your board or your place value chart and just stick it in the corner. We'll be using it in a minute. I don't know why they don't label these, but I'm going to while you put that away or erase.
Wait, we're putting it away?
No, but I'm just putting it in the corner. Okay. These directions tell us to draw 2 thousands discs in the place value chart. So we're going to put 2 in the thousands place. In other words, these dots, or some people call them discs, to show us we have 2,000. You see that? Now, what if I added that right there? Actually, let me do this. We started with that, and I'm going to add maybe this right here. Now how many thousands do I have?
3,000.
We have 3 3,000s now. I just added 1,000 to that number. I had 2,000. I added one more 1,000. I've got 3,000. Okay. Now this is going to start off pretty simple. What if I have 2,000 and I take away? I take away one of them. So I have 2,000, I take one away. What do I have now, Brandon?
1,000.
I just have 1,000. Now none of that was too difficult, was it? I think where we start getting tripped up and some of these, what we're doing today, is when there's other digits besides just zeros with it. Okay? All right, we're going to have 3,000s and 112 ones. 112 ones. If I have 112 ones, what do I actually have? Well, I could put 112 dots in the ones place, but they could not stay there for very long. You know why? Because this is only going to hold 9 ones, and when I get to 10, I've got to do what? I've got to move it over to the tens place. So 10 of these will become one of these. And when I get 9 in here, it's full. If I get 10 dots here, I've got to move it over here, don't I? Okay? Each of these places will only hold up to 9. So this is going to actually look like this. But we could call that 112 ones. It's also 100, 110, and 2 ones. So if this is what we have, okay, what is this going to look like in standard form? So on your regular whiteboard, okay, I want you to write this. I don't want you to draw a place value chart. I just want you to write the number that I have on the place value chart right now. Write it with digits, not dots. Okay? All right, so Miranda, what does it look like?
3,101.
3,112. Okay, 3,112. Okay. Underneath that, I want you to write this number, this same number, 3,112. I want you to write it in expanded form. What would it look like in expanded form? This is the tens. We are already getting so much better at expanded form. Now remember it's 3 times 1,000. Remember we are doing the form that has multiplication. We have 3 times 1,000 because it's 1,000 place. Okay, not word form. Trace this expanded form. 3 times 1,000 plus 1 times 1,000. Most of you have this. Got it? I'm going to put it up here. Wait a minute. Okay, this is not 8,000. let me fill mine in while you're finishing. This is 3 times 1,000 plus 1 times 100 plus 1 times 10 plus 2 times 1. Okay, don't erase your whole board. I'm fixing to ask you to erase. Sometimes we hear that word erase, we just start, I don't want you to erase the whole thing. I'm going to ask you to erase part of it if you need to. And you will need to, but listen to my question. We have 3,112, right? And you've shown it to me in standard form and expanded form. I want you to add 1,000 to that number. Here and here. I want you to add 1,000 to that number as a standard form number and as an expanded and in expanded form. So you don't have to erase everything. Go ahead and do that. Only erase the digits that you need to erase. You're adding 1,000 in both places. You're adding 1,000 to the standard form and you're adding 1,000 to the expanded form. So what would this number look like if you added 1,000? What would this number look like if you added 1,000? You got 3,000s now. If you have one more 1,000, what would it look like? This is what we have to start with. We have 3,000. What would it look like if you had one more 1,000? And once you see us do this one time, this has to make a whole lot more sense. Okay. What would 3,112 look like with one more 1,000? Tell me that number, Caleb.
4,112.
Okay. You are going to be adding one more right here, right? And that's the only place you're adding one more. So this would no longer be, it was like right as I was touching it, I realized that's the wrong button. Okay. Anyway, this would become, we had 3. We added one more. So this is no longer going to be a 3 in front. This is now going to be 4,112. Okay. What did you have to change on expanded form? Did you have to change the whole thing?
No.
What, Brandon, did you change with expanded form?
I just changed the 3 to a 4 on both.
Okay. So at the beginning of your standard form where it said 3 times 1,000, you changed it to 4 times 1,000? That's exactly what you needed to do. And that was the only change you had to do. Okay. All right, and so they're showing with discs and with digits what we just did. Now, go back and put the 3s back where they were. Because see, this would have had to have been 4,000 as well. Go back and put the 3s back. We're going to try something else with this. Go back to our first number, 3,112. We're having to erase very carefully. Change this 4 to 3. Okay. What if I asked you, change the 4 to a 3. Go back to the first number that we had in both places. You had to change it back with an expanded form and you had to change it back in standard form. Now, what if I asked you to write what is 1,000 less? How would you change the standard form number? How would you change the expanded form number? Go ahead and do that on your board. Show it to me on your board. You're now making it 1,000 less. look at how many thousands you've got. You're going to take one of those away. Okay? So what would that number look like? Don't forget to change it in both places. So if it's 3,112, what would it look like if it was 1,000 less? In both places. So this was 3, and we'll make it 1,000 less. So what digit would you put here? Okay. Question? Okay. Faith, what does our number look like now?
2,112.
Yes. What did you do to the expanded form number? Ishmael, what did you do?
Added 2 except for
You changed 3 times 1,000 to what?
2.
2 times 1,000. Okay. Now, none of that was super difficult, but by doing this, we're seeing how simple it is to change a number just by 1,000. 1,000 seems like a whole lot to add, when really you're just making one little change to one place of the number. Okay, so go ahead and clear that off. We're going to practice with these numbers. Now this time we are just looking at standard form. Don't worry about this number. That's our second one. We're going to, at the top of your board, I want you to write this number. 19,112. Okay. Underneath it, I want you to write the number that would be 1,000 more than this. What would it look like? Write the number that would be 1,000 more than 19,112. 1,000 more. So this number should be bigger than what you started with. Okay. Remember, we've got 19,000s. So what is one more than that? Okay. Mason, what number did you come up with?
20,112.
When we added that 1,000 right here, and you expect just that number to change, you realize it's gotten too big to stay in the thousands place. So it became, if that's 10 right there, 2 digits won't fit right there. We had to put 1 over here, didn't we? So this became a 2. Sometimes when we round numbers, that will happen too. And we'll see that situation later on. Okay. Erase your, y'all didn't even catch me. That's not supposed to be 0, 0, 0. I heard what you said. I just didn't write it, Mace. Okay. I want you to erase the one that says 20,112. So we're going to erase this. I wonder if this would work on this board. No. Okay. And I want you to write underneath that number 1,000 less this time. 1,000 less. Keep that number 19,112, but underneath it, write 1,000 less than that. Got it? Okay. All right, this is quick. Get your answer written down. Charlotte, what have you got?
18,112.
We just subtracted one of those. So now it would look like 18,112. Okay. Let's try another number. Now, go ahead and erase all of that. At the top of your board, put 199,465. 199,465. Now, don't change this number. Leave that there. Some of you were erasing it again. Let's leave that there. But underneath it, I want you to write the number that would be 1,000 more than 199,465. What is 1,000 more than that? Write that underneath the number. Okay. Write it underneath. Erase this one. Right. Erase this. Erase. Okay. Okay. What have we got here? Ishmael, what'd you get?
200,000.
200,000.
465.
Did anybody get that?
Yes.
Okay. I would have gotten that too. That's exactly right. Okay. Now, under that, no, that would be confusing. Go ahead and erase the 200,465. The 200,465. Erase just that part. So you still have 199,465. So now write 1,000 less underneath there. 1,000 less would be what? It wouldn't be 199,000 anymore. It would be something else. Okay. All right. So Valerie, tell us what you got.
198,465.
Did anybody get that? Yes, you agree with her. You got it too, or no? Okay, this is correct. Now, if you're sitting there today thinking this is awfully simple, and maybe you're waiting for the catch, you know, why is this so simple? It is pretty simple, but this is actually going to help you when we keep rounding. When we come back Monday and we jump back into rounding, these thoughts and these ideas that are going into what we're doing today will be helpful. Okay. Let's keep moving. We are not far from being done. All right, so this might look the same, but this is a little different. So just watch for a second. Actually, I'm going to have you do this with me on your place value chart, okay? All right, so our directions tell us to put the place value dots or discs. So you're going to do the dots or discs on your place value chart too. We're going to have 2 10,000s and 3,000s. You got that, right? That wasn't very much to put on there. Now push this out of your way. Like put it beside your other whiteboard. On your regular whiteboard, I want you to write this number in standard form. What is your place value chart showing you? What number? Write it on your other whiteboard. All you're writing is a standard form number. Okay, Miranda, tell us what that looks like.
23,000.
23,000. Okay, so So that's what you should have on your whiteboard. Now, I want you to write that in expanded form. And you can look at your place value chart to help. You can look at this to help you. But we're going to take 23,000 and make it into expanded form. Do you have to what? Well, we've jumped over them before, haven't we? So that's pretty much it. No. Look at that. That's not the right number right now. Yes, it is. Okay, I have this bad habit of talking and not. Okay, please, catch me on that if you can. Okay. This should have 30 in it. Okay, check your place value chart. Make your place value chart look like mine. My brain gets to thinking about the next thing and I get distracted sometimes. 23,000. So you had written what I had. Now let's fix it. That was my fault. Okay. Expanded form. So that was a pretty quick expanded form, wasn't it? What does it look like? Caleb, what do I write first?
2 times 10,000 plus 3 times 1,000.
Okay, that was it. It seems kind of strange not to keep going, but the rest of the digits are zeros, so that's all we have to write. Now, we are going to change things a little bit. So don't erase what you have. Like, don't erase it all. We might be erasing part of it. We are going to take this number, and on the place value chart, the standard form number and expanded form, we're going to change all of it to show 10,000 more. So right now, I want you to show 10,000 more. Let's start on the place value chart. Where do we add a dot? Where do we add a disc or a dot, Reagan? Okay, we add it in the 10,000s place. Because I asked you to add 10,000 more this time. So that is what your place value chart should look like now. Okay, we don't have digits on here today, we've got dots. Okay, so we went from 2 discs or dots here to 3. How does that change this? What's going to change right here? Will, can you tell us? On the standard form, what's going to change?
The 2's going to become 3.
The 2 is going to become a 3. Let's do that. We don't have 23,000 anymore. We have 33,000. How is expanded form going to change? Right here. Alexandra, what are we going to change here? Is going to become a what? Okay, so this 2 goes away. All right. Let's go back and put the 2 back in all 3 places. Now I want you to show 10,000 less. 10,000 less. So Martin, what do I need to do here? I'm going to show 10,000 less.
You need to take a dot off.
I need to take a dot off. So you can either cross it out or you can erase it. Ishmael, what am I going to change here?
Change the 10,000 to 1.
Yes, in the 10,000s place, this 2 will become a 1. What about with the expanded form, Brandon? What will I change there?
We'll change the expanded form for the 2
Mm-hmm.
201.
201. So y'all are let's not do that out loud, please. Okay. So y'all are seeing the pattern here and how this is working. Okay. Again, this is not so difficult. It's just giving us practice that we need before we keep rounding. All right. If I asked you, and we're not going to switch numbers right now. Are we? Yeah, I guess so. Let's do this right quick. Go ahead and erase your board. I was trying to save us some time, but I think we will do it one time. I'm going to give you a number. Yeah, erase everything. I'm going to give you a number in standard form, and I'm going to ask you to change it. You use your place value chart. I want you to put the dots on the place value chart, and you're also going to write the standard form number. So here is our number. Is that large enough? Let me write it. 200,352. Okay, so you're going to put that number on your place value chart with dots. I want you to add 100,000 to this number. Okay. Put that number on your place value chart first and write the standard form on your other whiteboard. And then I want you to add 100,000 to that. This is what you're adding right here. Where's your eraser? Write it like this. Here. Here we need the dots. Put the dots here. Two dots in the 100. There you go. Now, on your place value chart, we're putting dots here and writing the number here. Okay. All right, I want y'all to help me write this on the board in just a second. So on the place value chart, you've got 2 dots in the 100,000s, nothing in the 10,000s, nothing in the thousands. Then we have 3 in the hundreds. What's wrong with this place value chart?
We have to add
1s, 10s, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s. It wasn't quite large enough, was it? Okay. Well, it won't let me do that, will it?
You have it on the race.
What now?
You have it on the race.
I sure do. It let me draw the box. This chart type being new, I was like, maybe I can't do that, but I already did. All right, so 2 in the 100,000s, no 10,000s, no thousands, 3 in the hundreds place. This is what you should already have written down. 5 in the tens, and 2 in the ones. Okay, I asked you to add 100,000. That's all you had to add. One more dot. What is the only digit that changed in the standard form number, Charlotte?
100,000.
This 2 changed to a 3, didn't it? Okay. let's look for a second at this. Just put the top on your marker and lay it down. Just put the top on your marker and lay it down right now. There is a pattern happening here, and I want you to be able to see it. Okay? Just because we're working with larger numbers doesn't mean it's much different than when you worked with smaller numbers before. What is the pattern that you're seeing? I want you to be able to tell us what's happening. Will, what's happening here?
It goes down 100,000.
Okay. Will is saying that each time it goes down 100,000. Does anybody agree or disagree or have something to add to that? Show me, everybody. Okay. I agree with you too. Which digit is changing? It's this first digit that's changing each time. We know that's the 100,000s place. It's going down by 1. So 100,000 is being subtracted each time. When I tell you things like add 100,000, subtract 10,000, that sounds big and hard, doesn't it? It sounds that way. But is it?
No.
Has this been difficult today? Not at all. Not at all. I think some of you are trying to almost nod off on me today because this has not been very difficult. So, but we are already ready to go here. And that is our problem set. When you get to your problem set, you are going to first label the top of the place value chart. I'm only going to ask you to do that once. I think there's 3 problems that look like this. And every time the labels are missing, I'm going to ask you to put the labels in the first one. And then you should be able to see them on the other ones underneath. Okay? You're going to put the labels, and it's going to tell you what to do. 10,000 more than 605,472. What? It's a word form number. And you've got to add 10,000. What should you do to that word form number first? Reagan, what?
Draw it in standard form.
Change it. Change it to standard form. But also put it on the place value chart and then show 10,000 more. What is this blank for? It's for you to write the new number after you've added 10,000 to it. Okay? Same here. This time they've used expanded form. You're going to see a third one of these. You're also going to see a word problem that asks you to do the same thing. It's just got words with it. I want you to give it a try. If you have time to get here, look at what they're doing. They've made it look like an addition problem. 10,000 plus 40,060. When you're working on this, if this is confusing to you without a place value chart, come over here and draw a little place value chart. And that will help you. Okay. Also, if you have time to get here, there is a pattern with some numbers missing. They want you to add the missing numbers of the pattern. Okay. As you're working, if you forget how one of these parts works, just let me know and we'll talk about it. Okay, before we start our problem set, I think we're going to take our restroom break. So be getting your mask on.